Yeah.
It's this
So
kind of thing.
Yeah, there it is.
yeah. Okay.
That's all you
So
need to know. Hey everybody, Matt Johnson here. I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with my friends Matthew and Adam. They are musicians and video creators working together as the creative studio Moon Mutant. They're creating work all around the panhandle of Florida and South Alabama, where some really creative things are happening in Mobile and Pensacola. I met Adam a couple of years ago when I had an artist booth at Pensacon, a comic book convention that happens in Pensacola down there every February or so. And I recently saw a music video Matthew and Adam created for a song called Repeating Patterns by We Were Promised Jetpacks. And it's just incredible the amount of like practical effects and production value they were able to bring to it with very little money and almost no time. So I decided to reach out to Adam and see if they would chat with me for a bit, and they said sure. So in this video, we talk about how music has influenced their visual art and storytelling, some of the behind the scenes info about that video and their other projects, how they get creative juices flowing, and what it is like to work collaboratively with others in their local community of Pensacola or in South Alabama, as mentioned before. So without further ado, here's my talk with Matthew and Adam of Moon Mutant. So, like, do you fit stuff like this in? Like, I feel like that's what I always end up having to do, like, which is great. I mean, everybody's so busy. That's awesome, you know? So you get to kind of like skirt the daytime hours with these kind of things. You guys do a lot of that kind of stuff, like outside of the workday, or are you guys kind of 9 to 5?
I guess I'm trying to get more in this having steady work and then doing this, doing more video and music stuff like freely.
yeah, more creatively free.
Man,
Not being, yeah. I mean that like doing the stuff for us and like pursuing the stuff that we're trying to create, and not necessarily like trying to be a freelancer. That's like, yeah, just trying to make other stuff for other people or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like it seems like having 3 or 4 things jammed together as like your career is like the way to go these days.
well, yeah, trying to spread it out and trying to have like well, I guess that's it. Trying to like direct more of our efforts towards things that can build up for us, like for personal projects and like in several different ways, whether it's like whether it's video or music stuff or whatever. Just laying some foundations for things that we can continue to build upon.
Yeah, I mean, when working for other people, there's not nearly as much credit. You know, that it doesn't really. It might lead to other jobs if people talk about you, but for the most part, it's just kind of like work for pay. And I don't know, exposure is a weird thing. But often I've heard that if you kind of try and promote your own ideas from a brand, it's just a lot more worth your time in the end. You know, your own what creations that we're working on, that kind of thing. So we're kind of getting back toward that. Right? Yeah. Back toward that idea.
I think we've been really fortunate in the things that we have been able to make for other people, that we've had a lot of freedom in like kind of exploring the sort of things that we want to do. Or
so kind of finding the happy medium of where we'll take on something if it's really interesting, you know, if it's really unique, which we're doing right now, working on stuff.
But that doesn't necessarily pay you a whole lot.
First of all, Adam, I know you're a traditional artist, visual artist as well, right? So you of all people know about the portfolio building that is required, you know, and like, do you guys view the kind of work you're doing as somewhat of like a portfolio you're trying to build in that way, or is it really just following kind of the passion and where you want to go with it?
You know, we tried that like suit on for a while. I tried the suit on with like visual art with painting and whatever. I tried to like fit into that hole to be like a hired gun, and I don't think I can do it, at least not well, because I do like a few specific things well, and it's just not an everyman jack of all trades. So when it comes to that, like we were thinking of our reel as this kind of like is this like a portfolio.
He is.
I am a jack.
Off all trades.
Off all trades. Off all of the. So yeah, we originally thought of it like that. Like there's a reel on the website that's got all these projects through the massive amount of work that Matthew's done, and then something by the time I came along, and like, yeah, okay, we're just gonna try and like hit up these artists. And I mean, we may still do that, but it's more like kind of finding its way back to like, well, how much time do I actually have? What can I afford? And then what's most important to me? And we have ideas. Like, I mean, we have properties, IPs, a lot of IPs that just have like no outlet yet. Like I painted a bunch of characters made out of food and fruit and stuff, and I just put all this work into it, and it's just kind of sitting there. But it could be an animated project. It could be a pitch for a show. And then Matthew's got a bunch of scripts or treatments, stories.
Yeah, whether it's like characters or settings or both or just visual concepts. Or I mean, there's
so like we have a portfolio
and music and all that sort of stuff. We've got there's a lot of stuff that if we're gonna spend this time like doing something beyond the like working the other jobs or whatever. That's
spend my free time.
It'd be,
making someone else's commercial, which can be super fun.
Yeah, for sure. That in our opportunity to like do that sort of stuff, that it has been at least positive, or we're able to work on like reasonable things, but there's just, I think there's a pool of all of this other stuff that's sitting to be made that's been kind of like pushed aside because of like working on other people's stuff. And
I think you kind of like, you make other people's stuff what you like, you can make the most of it, or you can treat it like, okay, we got another commercial gig, like let's get it done, let's get this over with, get this paycheck, and then get back to what we really want to do. Or you can
and I think that's the thing, we don't do that. We just like pour weight a lot in I mean
I've never been able to do that, is the thing. So I'm really bad at making money. But you're saying there's another take on it. Yeah, that's really bad. There's another take on it where you're talking about being able to kind of take out of it what you can really appreciate and emphasize that. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, tell me again, or go ahead and tell me a little bit. Just give, and anybody listening to this that doesn't already know.
Which is everyone.
Hey, you know what? Nowhere to go but up, right?
Exactly.
So give me a little recap on the music video that you sent me. Kind of tell me about that collaboration, because when you said you'd worked on a music video, I was like, that's great, that's awesome. I've seen a ton of music videos in my life, as an avid YouTube video watcher. Just joking, but for real though, I'm
joking. I'm way beyond average. I've watched a lot of videos.
Yeah,
I believe it. So like, it was really, really impressive. Like, it was the kind of thing where I was like, ah, man, like as a Jim Henson generation kid and like a lover of all things, I love the music video as a medium, just as a medium as itself. So tell me about it. It blew my mind.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
break out the pipes and the monocles, gentlemen.
I got that gig and heard the song. And for the first time, and then 18 days later, I think we delivered that video.
What?
Yeah.
that was like that. We didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. You got that gig as like, hey, here's a little bit of cash to make like some visualizations, some like basic.
We need some like exactly, some like visualizations to go with the song.
And I'll interrupt and just say, if anybody doesn't go and watch the video, which they should, it's this awesome, it's full of narrative, and it's like a live action thing that you guys did with puppetry and crazy lighting, and like it just really looked. It did not look like an 18-day project.
Yeah.
No. Well, and that was huge. Like working with Adam on that in like the.
That was our first big collaboration.
Yeah, for sure.
It really was. For sure. We met each other. We were, being cool and vibing, and
hanging out, making stuff here and there whiskey separately. But that was like the big thing that we started working on together.
Collaboration.
And it was one of those. I mean, I guess we actually like shot or kind of made and shot the whole thing in that last week for the most part. Like we were kind of just talking about ideas, and then we started like storyboarding and whatnot in the first week or so, and then really it was a bunch of like 5 a.m. nights, and waking up early, and Adam's working but taking days off so he can like I had more time to like pour into that at the time. And we just I mean I love those constraints for projects, like having deadlines just in general.
Deadlines
that
really
helps
important.
a lot.
So did you guys start with a vision and then kind of build that vision out, or did it just like improved out almost?
The song is called Repeating Patterns, and so we started with that. I was talking about like making, whether it was like clay things that kind of stop motion, like a bunch of whatever clay cones appearing across the screen or something, in time with the music or that sort of thing. And whatever, just different sorts of patterns that we can have going throughout the song. And then Adam we were just talking about what sort of assets we had available. That
was it.
Like whether pieces of art, like sculptures or whatever, like or just things, objects, and I had made the two main sock puppet characters as a Halloween costume, this angel and devil on my shoulders. And at that point, the devil had like was holding a chain that was going around a collar, a spiked collar that was around the angel's neck, and the angel had a bottle of Jim Beam fire in his hand. It was like, so
the first time I met Matthew, it was at a Halloween party. And
that was that. So that was
that was kind of, it was iconic.
Wow.
Things. So he wore those, the devil puppet and the angel puppet, That's all we had to start with. Everything else that you saw was made.
But Adam brought those up, and I went home that night and like started thinking like, well, if these are these two main characters, like what's going on? What is this like cycle, this repeating patterns? And like from that, like listening to the song just a shitload over and over, and like breaking it down and like making some visual representation of the song in Premiere, like doing kind of like colored segments, just visual segments, so I can see like, okay, this part of the song lasts this long, and then it changes over to this, and I can kind of get some other sort of some map of this song and what the beats are and how long certain pieces are, and building some story off of that, and wanting, having some initial ideas from things that we talked about, of like, because the song's called Repeating Patterns, we want that to exist on numerous levels, of like this whole thing repeats on itself, but it has to like go back to the beginning, and continue to build off of those ideas, and made all these, just would come over and make props, and all right, we got to shoot this scene, we need these props, and we're gonna make some things that we can reuse in different ways, and we just had a very limited amount of time, and some simple
foam,
like
and some cardboard,
foam and cardboard paint. And exactly.
Well, it sounds put together with chewing gum and duct tape when you put it that way, but at the same time,
but there's definitely, but it was seeing like all of, I guess the big thing for me was like just how that Adam wasn't making videos, like had not been, but he's like a trained and studied artist, and like has studied light and like color and all of this stuff, and so working with him and seeing all of this stuff that he was doing and how that was manifesting in through the video, through these things that we were showing, and that I mean it was pretty incredible to me to see what was able to like be brought together in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, and when I say that about chewing gum and duct tape, I just mean to say that like that part of it is very much like, resourceful, and you're piecing things together.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, the necessity being the mother.
Well, some of it was like, this prop is going to work long enough for us to shoot it, and then it's not going to. We know, it's like
not gonna last.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what he's talking. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. One of the repetitious things was this idea of the angel like running through hell, and so Adam.
Well, no. Start with the rig. He made this. He welded this rig with his dad.
It's this classic thing of the background going by, like around and around. Walking through the forest, like whatever. The Disney thing or what, or I don't know, maybe that's something. But anyway, that you can stay in place and that the background's going right. Well, I just think that's probably not the right reference there.
Yeah, probably not.
But so wanting to do that because it's repeating patterns and that he's running down the hall and that he keeps seeing the same things.
So I'm like, he's telling me this idea, this thing he's going to make. I'm like, dude, we have 2 weeks. Like, what? You're nuts. And and then I got to paint an 8-foot painting, like to rotate around and then have it match at the butt seams, and like it works. And it's ridiculous. We ran it. So we had one person with a drill, a hand drill. We had a clamp to a table. And we had someone with a drill running of the ends.
Yeah. And
then we had it's a brown paper, like craft paper you get at Home Depot that I painted it on, and then taped it together. And like someone's running it, and then I'm puppeteering, and then I think someone was pulling the hands.
I think we started the camera. There were 3 of us.
Yeah. There were 3 of us.
Nobody's at the camera. It's like you start it, and then you go puppeteer.
Yeah.
You like.
Yeah, you get what you need.
Yeah.
And then so the background thing is pretty cool.
That's insane. And like I just love like this day and age where like you can know a little bit of After Effects, a little bit of Premiere, a little bit of these tools, and kind of piece it all together. Like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine like if I could go back and tell my high school self how cool it was going to be with all these tools.
Yeah, that's it. We have an immense resource of like the power that we're able to leverage through the tools that we have is just like incredible. That we're gods in this like day and age with what. The amount of like mental power and energy of all of the things that have been, all of the man hours that have been put into the things that we use nowadays. We're using probably billions of hours of manpower to do this thing right now, to talk to you on this like amazing machine and these speakers and this microphone and all this shit. And so to be able to like, 3D print some like whatever, it's really incredible.
I mean, that's like so much of what I feel drives me. Like that keeps me motivated to make stuff. Just that gratitude,
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, you think about even like the quote unquote non-artistic. I don't like to call someone that, but like when you think of someone who's a mathematician or a programmer who's working on like the physics of how After Effects renders things, like we owe a lot to so many people that are not artists to be able to create stuff like this. I feel like I was so well served when I was doing video production full time by having an art background. Like, everything that comes in with like composition and color theory and being able to light a scene well. Like, I learned all that in art school. I didn't go to film school. So it's just really cool how that all comes together for you guys.
It's a trip for sure. It was, I never expected to make any kind of video anything. It wasn't like even a thought in my head because I didn't think I'd had it. Takes more than one person. I was like,
I'm just one person. Not enough people.
Never going to be more than one person.
Never,
But I think like a lot of people aren't comfortable with making scraps, I guess. Like
what
like sketches?
Yeah, maybe sketches, like in the sense of like you come up with a character over here, but there's not necessarily a plot with that character that you came up with, or you come up with a premise for something, or you have a treatment, but you're not really taking it further than the treatment. You're not going into like writing 12 episodes of a TV show yourself. You're making these things as they come to you. Does that make sense? And I think sometimes people want to make a magnum opus. They want the Sistine Chapel or nothing. There's a little bit of an extreme there with people that are struggling to create. And again, I want to point out that I think that's the key with people who are struggling to create and people who are a little more I don't want to say successful, but the fact that you create a lot of stuff comes from the fact that you're not really hung up on that end result.
Yeah, well, it's not
Yeah.
being precious about I think any
Yeah.
one thing, because there's this body of work that we're like building towards, and it's not just about like this. We put a lot into the individual pieces, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's not the end. Like we're gonna make another thing after this. So
Yeah, it's taught well being into this world in the last year or so. It's taught me a lot about letting go and just like moving on to other things as needed. So things can sit, things can like be a note on the wall. You know.
So Adam, like with your fine art, I need you to know that I still like the 3 pieces I bought from you live on my mantle across from my desk in my office, and I
Really?
love them. Like it was I got the little blob people that you were watercoloring.
Yeah.
It was like what was the premise that you gave for it? Was
Oh,
they were in clothes, right?
they're just lumps. They were lumpy creatures that really wanted to wear clothes but didn't do it very well.
And they're just so depressed about the fact that they can't wear clothes, and I just love them.
Yeah, they have that kind of, you just learn to cartoon eyes that look sort of crossed.
And then I got this Appalachian looking dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, with a possum, I think. It's like a little guy holding a possum, and then there was this little old lady with maybe a raccoon.
Oh, the prince. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man and his mole, and and Granny and the coon. It sounds a little weird saying it out loud. Yeah, that's what I call it. Those were people. What did I call them? People and pets. It was just like I did like 6 of those paintings. I have trouble doing more than like that many, but I did more later. But yeah, those were really fun. Those were cartooning things, and then spending time to paint it really well. Like that was a really fun concept. Todd Shore. That's where I got that idea because Todd Shore is amazing.
Really.
And Robert Williams is like the godfather of like lowbrow and whatnot, and Todd Shore is kind of like his successor.
Gotcha.
I don't know. To me, Todd is really antisocial. He's not like boisterous in any way, but his paintings, if you just go look at his work, Todd Shore does amazing cartoon realism, as he calls it, because cartoons are surreal. So, what? Yeah, I'll spell it in a second, or he'll put up the link. But yeah, Todd Shore is the way to go. And cartoons, I don't know, painting cartoons just was the easiest avenue. I don't know why. I still don't. I love cartoons though. It's the way they look. Like the Ren and Stimpy, they're fine plates. They're really disturbing looking.
Yeah.
That got me. Movie covers always got me. Like horror movie posters. Well, the VHS covers.
Yeah.
They would have been posters.
Yeah.
But I saw VHS covers in the video store, and like before I knew who he was, Drew Struzan. He's another guy. I'll talk about him. Drew frickin' Struzan. Everybody knows his work, but not everybody knows his name. And it's once I found out, like when I was a kid, I stared at the Temple of Doom poster, or the VHS, just forever. I noticed the guy had sharp teeth, and he doesn't in the movie, and then he talks about it in the documentary, and he just put it in there because he wanted to. And it's just like I don't know. That guy blew my mind. That's how I learned to paint was Drew Struzan. His method kind of like opened the world of color because I wasn't doing color before that.
Do you ever feel like you were working towards a certain like art profession, like whether it was to be an illustrator in that way or?
Yeah. So yeah, I tried those hats on a bunch. I went to CTNX in 2016. The thing.
Yeah.
And I had a portfolio, and I didn't really show it off. So I used to live out in California, and I had friends, and I was in a band when I was like 14 with these high school kids, and I still know the guys. And one of the guys is Jay Salvador, who does Super Emo Friends, and he basically takes IP properties and turns them into chibi characters, and puts a really depressing line under them because they're all really yeah. Super Emo Friends is funny. So he was there doing Designer Con and in Pasadena. So I was there for CTN, and then I took some time off. Like I kind of reconnected with them on the phone and found him. and realized that he was at DesignerCon, and so I went there and hung out with him and saw that other world. So you've got CTNX. You're trying to be a jack of all trades or some kind of trade. You're trying to be a hand for someone else's work, and then DesignerCon was the other side of it. DesignerCon was the creators, being creators, making their own thing, having their own IP, and it was I don't know, things changed. I showed my portfolio to one person from DreamWorks TV, and that was cool, but I just don't think I really fit that mold. And so yeah, when you met me, I had been trying to like make a cartoon, just plethora, just kind of trying to make something that's not perfect but finished, trying to find a good price range to sell stuff for, just trying to figure out the whole business side of it. And I don't know, I got pretty far, and then we made a music video.
And that was that. You threw all of your convention materials in the trash. No.
I burned all the paintings. I just fun people.
We need some more shelf space here.
Yeah.
We got to get these paintings out of
here.
Yeah. I mean, tell me about the Wild Things Ball.
That was trippy.
That was great.
Surprising.
Yeah, Adam.
How much work they put into it.
Like from the top. I don't know what that even is.
So this is I had met the newer curator for the Alabama Contemporary Art Center in Mobile, Alabama, and it had like some art things in Pensacola here.
Bread and Puppet Theater that they had at the
and at a showing at the museum here that we've been involved with, and went and I don't know, they just went to a show, went to a new exhibition that they had, that we had some friends that had some stuff in it, and just the really great space. And there's like new people there that are trying to get this. It's like been kind of renamed in the last couple of years, and they're trying to rebrand this, and we wanted to connect with these people, and like went and met with them and just talked about like what's going on over the next couple of years and how they're kind of changing all of their exhibitions and like the schedules for all of that, and doing a lot more stuff and wanting to make a new name for themselves. And so we kind of went and talked to them about doing all of that sort of stuff. So
threatened all the other videographers to stay away.
A
chance to.
Mobile, like their art scene seems like they're really trying to like think differently about it.
It's there's some
dope.
Cool stuff going on.
It's surprising.
And that was it. Well, in that's like a lot of what I had connected with Adam on, like here, that I was like trying to hang out with people at the museum and like go to like talks that they had there, and that was kind of part of why I met Adam to begin with, like hanging out with other local artists and stuff like that. Like try that I sort of for the first time had seen some part of this Pensacola community that I just never connected with. That like, hey, here's people that are kind of doing this stuff that I feel like I've been doing in isolation for a long time or whatever, wanting to connect with them. And
the stuff that they've proposed for us to shoot for them is pretty amazing.
It just fun. Feels like cool open stuff like that they're really trying to talking about all of that other stuff like the Pensacola Museum or whatever is like just finding this community of people that I feel like are involving ourselves with people that are directly going to be helping with this stuff. I mean, we're going to be shooting them, and they're going to be making things for the stuff that we're making. Like we're able to actually like project. Collaborate with these people and make something together, and that as we show them what we're able to do, and they make these amazing spaces and all this stuff, we're able to build this like new visual language together and start like exploring that, and like, okay, we made one video together, now that we all have that to look at, we can like understand new things for the next thing that we make.
I wonder if that's how like the visual brand of someone like Tim Burton like develops, through finding the right people that they want to work with, and then like it kind of cultivates over time. Like you do that one first project together, and then it kind of grows a fungus, and then it starts to grow little appendages, and then you've just got this whole little monster that you've created.
Everybody's got their tendrils underground. Everybody's fingers are touched in everybody else's pies.
A lot of pies.
Yeah.
Pensacola is kind of like a little treasure trove. we've got a grip of people we know personally that are just super fun to hang with and work with, and kind of like this video thing really grew into that. That idea isn't dormant; it's still there. That we want an opportunity to make money with our friends. Like if someone will pay us to make something great, that we can actually like provide, funds to our friends to be creative with us, to like, kind of starting there, kind of starting at this place where we're not just going to ask people to do stuff for free, and we're not going to, kind of try to take advantage of people, but we've got such a pool of talent. There's some really great people out here. Poppy Garcia, the Moon in the video.
Mm-hmm.
That's Poppy Garcia.
Yeah,
he'll love the plug.
Yeah.
he's awesome. He made some of the hand puppets too.
All of us had our hands in those puppets.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of shared sweat.
Not a lot of hand sanitizer. Just
mostly
zero hand sanitizer.
Just sweat and shame.
Yeah,
and beer.
Oh, there was a lot of pride.
A lot of pride in there.
Puppet pride.
Puppet pride. PP.
Puppet pride.
We're all about PP.
Getting our hands in there.
I don't know, like I would have never thought of the narrative for repeating patterns, and like being a part of that feels just as good as finishing a painting, if not better. It's I get the same motivation, the same feelings, but I also know that like someone with a lot of experience put their time into it, someone else with a lot of experience put their time, like that adds up, and the more than the sum of its parts is always the case. It's like you get a whole lot more when two people are involved, not just twice. It's like this whole math thing. But yeah, it draws me definitely. Just obviously, got to be the right people.
Well, in that we did make a lot of those things together. Like we're sitting in the same space. Like I'm carving this piece of foam, and he's painting this,
and he's art directing me. It's like that shit. That's okay. Make that better. Put more blood on that.
But that constant feedback of like just you go at it, you just start making something, and then like, hey, what do you think about what do you think about this? Oh, okay, and then you like keep going, but you get just like those little intermittent bits of like along the way, the support or the feedback. In that case, it was like very rushed, but I think that like it was just kind of all this energy and bouncing little ideas.
That's kind of nuts because you're motivated to ask someone what they think. You're motivated to like, is this the best it can be? Let me check. It's super fun. I don't know. That's a cool thing, and that's the kind of environment we try to create with anything we're working on. Like shooting the video with Ashley.
Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility.
We just did something we'd never done, and like she's improvising dances in front of us, and we dress this set, and we're working with like she's just as much a part of it, and it's a trip. I don't know. I'm reflecting on it now, and it's kind of like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you came at this from a musical angle, Matthew, and Adam, you came at this from a visual art angle, but then you guys kind of met in the middle with moving pictures and making music videos and making things on video. Like, there's such a symmetry to that. Like, do you guys feel that?
There's a lot of like what I have or what I don't have he does. That kind of like we fill a lot of gaps.
There's a lot of overlap.
Played music. There's plenty of overlap. Matthews.
Yeah.
What is it? So we both played music. I played music since I was like 12.
Yeah.
You were probably younger.
But still,
your dad was musical before you were born, right? So like, and then like I got into visual art, and you got into what, model making, and
I was playing like Warhammer, and so like all of the
cool
sets and all of that stuff, like they drew off of these skills that I had started when I was 12, 13, 15, whatever, like of making terrain boards and all this stuff. So these hell sets, they're made out of the same foam that I was using to make Warhammer sets when I was 20 years ago. I
remember 20 years ago Warhammer stuff when I was in college. There were guys who were like just getting into like the eBay game of like painting and selling Warhammer figures.
Yeah.
That was like a total like college hustle in 2002.
but the skills that because at that age I was poring over these magazines that were focused on like DIY like building stuff, and like these are these miniature sets that we're now filming.
And I'd never touched 3 dimensions. Like I made the guitar, like the finger guitar and the drum set for that video, but I'd never done any of that kind of stuff before. But it was like because you started sculpting these sets and started like building the stuff out of foam, and it's like I kept thinking of 3D rendering things in 2 dimensions. Kept painting them flat and making them look 3D, but like you kind of open up that world where it's like, oh, we can just make a thing. And then
these hybrid things that like I would have never made this without Adam like like
trying
me
to
on like how to
a relief, a slight relief
like, that I would have made a full log or whatever, but there's this like
there were shortcuts that I was able to provide, like the grass being just one flat plane.
And it just kind of creates your style, though. Like, that creates, like, a thing that you don't even know what it's going to be until you see it. Like,
This, we know we need to make this thing, but we don't know quite what that's going to be.
I was kind of like, let's finish it. And he was like, well, how good can we make it? And we meet in the middle there a lot. It's a lot. I'm a lot about, like, I need the satisfaction of finishing something, even if it's not perfect, because if I dwindle too long in a project, I don't finish it. So like that's always a fear of mine whenever making something. And then with Matthew, he's the opposite. He wants to make it as grand as
I want to be perfect. I don't care if it's finished. No, that's not true.
Well, no. You lean more that way. You'll take the extra time where I'm like, well, the clock's ticking, but it helps. I think both of those things, they really work together. And
I've always had really good luck with working, Adam, with people like Matthew, because I'm like you, Adam. Like, I'm much more of the stopwatch guy. Like, I want this delivered, a day early and better than we thought it was going to be. I know it's impossible. Let's do it anyway. And
over deliver. Yeah, that's Matthew's. That's his thing. I mean,
but then working with people like Matthew is what's like so cool about that, is that he can go full throttle and he'll know that you're gonna pull it back down when that needs to happen.
I'll lay down that hammer. I just the hammer, and he gets a little bloody, but it's cool. Like we take it.
You have to sacrifice some darlings along the way, but yeah. So is there anything you guys got coming up, or anything you want to make sure we tell everybody about before we wrap it up?
The things, I mean, for me, it's music stuff that's not out yet.
Yeah.
That's pending.
So are you doing an album, or like is it an album when you say music things that are coming up, or is it video, or?
Right now, an EP and music videos at some point. Or that
have already storyboarded the music video.
that are
it's going to take a lot of work.
Ongoing.
Yeah. Oh, so is that now a thing where when you're creating music, you're thinking about what a video might look like at the same time?
Absolutely.
He is.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I mean that's like because of doing more. I mean, just more video stuff throughout the years, and I mean I've been teaching music for 10 years and playing for a long time, and but and interacting with more and more people in the art community, that like all of this stuff is getting wrapped up in my head that I can't like I kind of can't separate them anymore, and that I'm playing things and there's these like visual manifestations of things as I'm playing them, and these sounds or whatever become kind of characters in my head, and then that kind of builds maybe some visual things that continue to inform the song as I write it. As I write, like go to another instrument, like here's this other character that's interacting with this visual landscape or whatever, or like this scene or this certain feel that's happening in the music or whatever.
I'm super envious of the fact that that you guys have that musical background. I could not. I might be able to play like Mary Had a Little Lamb on a piano or something like that. I have no musical influence from anything that I do with visual art. I do the video editing stuff, mostly visual art. Otherwise, like, how does the music change what you guys are doing visually?
Enormously. I mean, like, I think that my editing, my video editing is extremely.
It's about
by
rhythm.
that and that,
for
yeah.
sure.
I mean this and dynamics. I mean, but part of that is that I think all of these different art forms play off of and inform one another. I mean, and these like broad stroke ideas of just like contrast. I mean, that like the high and the low, the loud and the soft, the fast and the slow, and the long and the short, and the bright and the dark, and all of those things. Like we're constantly trying to play with those elements, and I mean they manifest in all of these different things. And there's certain things that we try to tie together directly as they're moving, whether it's the music and the cuts, and then there's things that we try to play off of one another, that there's this juxtaposition of things that maybe there's some dissonance between them, because we're trying to create this tension or whatever in order to resolve it at some point. But there's so many languages that are being spoken at the same time when you're watching some video. And so there's such an opportunity to kind of like play with all of these characters and how they interact and how they drop out or show up, or they kind of like wax or wane or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it seems like music is so inherently collaborative, and people think of visual art as so inherently something you do on your own.
Yeah.
It can
But,
be.
well, I think
Not to
something.
put a finer point on it.
No. But to kind of like just some ongoing in what I mentioned of like just over these past couple of years of like being able to work with Adam and like other friends that we've met in this town and around. There's something that we've been doing, this like doodle game of,
doodle games.
Just
So that's
draw,
what we've got up and coming is national doodle games now.
But draw a line, you draw a line, I draw a line, and you draw a line. We as it's going, we see what this is. There's nothing to be precious about. It's just we're at a bar having some beers, and we're just like, we just got a pen and some paper and a notebook. And
he's always got a moleskin.
Yeah, whatever, and we start just doodling something. But and that's been ongoing with like a group of friends, kind of like we sit down and we just start drawing stuff together.
I would love to see competitive doodle games.
Well, but this collaboration on this very small and like on this very small scale.
Yeah, right.
And high reward.
Exactly. There's a lot, but there's a lot of like playing off. Oh, you did that. Well, I'm going to do this. Oh, you drew that line. I'm going to draw this line. And we, or you, all right. There's all that stuff. That's kind of finished off. Well, I'm going to start something new over here. And so we've had this like kind of play, this collaborative stuff like ongoing in this very like low key, like low expense sort of way.
But it teaches you the value of something, low investment, high reward. Like like storyboarding teaches us that it's a lot faster to do that and find out what's not going to work than to try and film it.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of the most basic form.
Exactly.
Of
that
collaboration. Just right there. Like everything works. If it works on a smaller scale, you can blow it up.
It's like if you're exercising that muscle on such a small scale, it's like
consistently. It makes it a lot easier when we do like get on some instruments and start like jamming together or like whatever, or that we're filming something and we like just those little adjustments, those little like suggestions to one another, like do this, like try this. Okay, I'm gonna play off of that suggestion. I'm gonna take it and add this.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Stop. What are you doing? What are you doing, Adam?
Why are you leaving? Where have you been?
Where have you been? What time is it?
Yeah. Where were you?
But what we're working on, that video for the ACAC should be the Alabama Contemporary Art Center. They should be. It's just a promo thing for the ball. We were talking about the Wild Things ball. The Wild Things ball was a costume ball. And they also had a show, and they also had dance contests. It was just amazing to see.
Which he won.
I won one of them after we stopped. My arms hurt, but I still danced. Still cut a rug.
You still danced to winning.
Yeah, I danced to winning. But yeah, so that was the most recent thing. I got to film Chris Staples the other night playing in Odd Colony with Steel Calhoun. and
a new brewery.
Yeah, new brewery, Odd Colony in Pensacola. They're pretty cool, and I like the vibe there. I like the beer. Are you into Pensacon anymore? Do you do conventions anymore?
I tried to do Pensacon the last 2 years in a row, and they sold out before I got an application in.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, I kept backing up my date for, like, okay, I was going to check in January. Okay, now I'm going to check in December. Now I'm going to check in November. And, yeah,
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't been since I was there in 2017 when you were there.
2017. Okay, yeah. Last year I did was 2018. I kind of gave up on that stuff, but yeah, I was just curious.
Any last remarks out there?
Oh yeah, Moon Mutant.
Mutant.
We exist as a production company called Moon Mutant, and it's the least important part of what you've heard.
Friendship Starship.
Friendship Starship. There's music abound, and
All right, man.
We'll keep doing things.
So there you have it. I think Matthew and Adam are two creatives that have just a great outlook on being genuine to the creative process, being truly collaborative, and striving to make the best product possible without letting like egos or credit get in the way. And I just think some of those are the easiest traps to fall into, and they do a great job of avoiding that. Working with others is a challenge, but when you can do it as well as they do, the work is truly greater than the sum of its parts. If you like this chat, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel for more artist interviews, videos about the creative process, and more. Thanks for watching.